We're 5 years past the COVID-19 pandemic beginning, and no one really wants to talk about the policy implications that still remain from it. And in terms of education policy, the number one thing is that uh, educational outcomes still have not truly recovered from pre-pandemic performances. So let's go into the research of where the American education system is now after more than 5 years since the pandemic began. The number one research finding is that learning loss was highly correlated with the amount of time that schools were closed for. So, for schools that were closed for shorter amounts of time, and for students who spent more time in the classroom, they faced less learning loss than those who were closed for longer and were out of school for longer. And obviously, this makes common sense. A global study of the PISA international data shows that each week of full school closure added to learning loss, with the average math declines internationally equating to 7 months of learning loss. Schools with the longest closures suffered even more, up to 9 to 12 months of learning loss. In the US specifically, there were substantial losses, and we are still not fully recovered. One US study shows that public school students in grades 3 through 8 lost up to half a year of math and a quarter of a year in reading performance. The Stanford Credo, the Center on Research on Education Outcomes, Stanford Credo put out a study reporting that fourth grade students performing on grade in 2019 was 69%, and by spring of 2023 was 56%, a decrease from 69% to 56% for the amount of fourth graders on level. National data shows that even by 2025, in this year, reading and math scores remain significantly lower than pre-pandemic levels, with students often less than halfway recovered from the learning losses during those 5 years. Now, the research further shows that there was a disproportionate impact on disadvantaged students, that remote learning disproportionately harmed low-income students, English language learners, students with disabilities, that COVID exacerbated existing inequities with remote learning, and the digital divide hurting Black and Brown communities harder than white communities, and poor communities harsher than affluent communities. Beyond academics, closures also disrupted social emotional development, mental health, and even nutrition, as schools weren't open to provide basic routines and public services. So, more than 5 years after the pandemic began, the big educational research shows that we are still fully not recovered from pre pandemic levels.